What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the BATTLECAST. It's your boy Lawrence. Together with me are Lycan, which is my co-host, and our first guest appearance already in AWildeTime, aka Mike. In today's episode, our topic will be the ESB T4 League. We couldn't miss the opportunity to not talk about it, so yeah, here we are. These two gentlemen here have, of course, been a major part of that ESB League with their involvement, and we'll just be discussing their thoughts and their experiences over the past weeks, months, for however long this league has been running. Later on in the episode, we'll also be interviewing two key figures from the top four teams, of course, Jordy from PLG and Frantic from Redux. Be sure to stay tuned for that. I'll be marking down all the different topics in the description below so you can easily follow what's happening. Now, we hope that you enjoyed the first episode of the Battlecast. We'll have many more episodes coming up with some really interesting topics and personalities joining us, while also having better quality as we're getting used to the format. Now, what's up, guys? How are y'all doing?
How we all doing? How we all doing?
Yeah, you doing great?
Doing good. Yeah.
Well,
no.
Mike, as you're the guest, introduce yourself.
My name's Mike. Again, most of you guys know me as AWildeTime. Do a lot of the casting for the Battlefield competitive scene. I've been casting and kind of involved with it since Battlefield 4, at least towards the end of it, really. So I've run some small tournaments of Battlefield 4. I've had a team up throughout Battlefield 1. And then kind of midway Battlefield 1, I just kind of really got into the casting, and you probably see me casting from things like the Battlefield Community League, scrims, and most recently the Esports Battlefield event for their T4 Season 4.
Yeah. And just as we're just going to head into that, can we just talk about the bar of the quality of that ESB League? Can we just talk about that briefly? If we look at their past, like, of course, we can look at the past event that they had, which was first of all the LAN last year in 2019, and now this, which is unfortunately not a LAN, but I think it's the best that they could do. Would you not say?
Oh yeah, I mean, like when you compare like other leagues and other tournaments that I kind of be involved in, they've all been on like a similar level. And then ESB came out with that Zurich LAN event, and the bar was kind of raised twofold. So while everyone was still doing the streaming down here, ESB raised it up to a more like proper production level.
Mm-hmm.
And then this time it was like better than I could have hoped for. We knew they had something special in the bag for the event. They were trying out something new, from the graphics, the videos, and then actually having a studio on set. The bar has now been raised through the ceiling. Like there's very few things that can be done now that's gonna top that, at least by organizations at the level that we're seeing now. Yeah, they've really raised it.
Yeah, if you head into my screen share, you can see what I'm posting. Like, this is the picture of the studio itself. Yeah, I mean, I know the team was Devastation, that sort of team, and I mean, they just smashed it out of the park, really. Just the amount of detail that DLC Studios did, because this is in Zurich, right?
Yeah, so can't remember the town, but it's like a hour and a half train from Zurich to the studio, which is like in a big like apartment sort of looking complex, 5 stories up, and they've got this absolutely huge studio. Like what you see on camera doesn't do the size of the studio justice. It really doesn't. It's huge for what you see. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was awesome.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I was talking with Timothy a little bit, and he just mentioned this, and I didn't even know. They said they were gonna do like some sort of studios, and I didn't know what to picture, because of course you're not able to have your teams there, so how are they going to do it? But I think this was a very great idea, a very smart idea of what they did. I would have loved to see a LAN, as I said before, but I think this is just as good, actually. Like, of course, you don't have the team atmosphere on set, but like what this showed Like, I mean, the next LAN is gonna be even better than this, and that says a lot, actually. Like, it's going to be amazing. I don't know what you
Yeah.
think about it, Lycan.
Yeah, I mean, for what we could do during current times, being able to, I mean, I didn't go to the studio myself because of personal reasons. I had to go to hospital and things like that. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to join Mike. But what I did see on my end when I was looking at Mike and looking at the studio and all, it looked absolutely amazing. So when we go and hopefully get into the next LAN, I reckon it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be up at the top of the table when it comes down to Battlefield LANs in general. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Can't wait.
Yeah. And also, can we talk about their sponsors? Like, I'm just showing the ESB website right now. So ESB hasn't really done any prize events like throughout the whole of Battlefield 5. And I know from BF1 times that they're like, they don't do prize events, but once they do, they actually like go full out. Like I remember in BF1 incursions, or they had for G4G, which was I think €1,000. I'm not completely sure, but I think it was
that sounds
1,000.
about right.
Yeah, and then about like 500, like somewhere in the summer. Like once they do it, then they're going full out, and I think that's sort of like, I think it's good, but it also has like some negatives in the sense that the other events aren't really, like, don't mean as much as this one, of course. So
Yeah, I mean, but like prize events is all about like raising the stake, and obviously when they did like obviously the last events, they had some sponsors which are obviously known within the community, but now we're getting some like huge named brands looking at our relatively small esports scene. It used to be huge way back when Battlefield 3, early Battlefield 4 was huge when ESL was involved running those events. You had teams like Frantic and stuff involved with these massive sponsors, and then it just dipped. And like ESB for the last, I think, 2 years has been cultivating these relationships, and like now we're starting to get a bit more recognition. And like that, I think the feedback that ESB got from those guys was huge. Like I don't think they were expecting it to be as successful or as professional as I don't think any of us really thought it was gonna be. I mean, it took me by surprise when I turned up. Like I think when the sponsors were watching, they were equally surprised, and not also on like a social media level as well. Like the game has been stepped up, so really looking forward to seeing more of the sponsor type thing with the named brands moving forward, because it just brings so much more stake to the competition, gives teams and players a reason to commit and step their game up.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I didn't expect any sponsors really. Like I knew there was something coming up with the T4, but yeah, I think this was the furthest away from what I had thought of. Like, Samsung is one of the bigger brands. You have MSI, and of course, yeah, I mean DLC Studios providing the place for the studios to make it happen, really. And it's just like, yeah, at this stage of Battlefield 5, it only shows what promise it could be for next Battlefield.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the whole event was just a testament to what ESB can do for the scene. Not just something fun that was put together. It was, we did this Zurich LAN before where we had the teams in a room playing against each other with some production equipment. And it was like apart from some like videos and stuff, relatively low production, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then they stepped the game up now with a incredibly high production value set and output to the viewers. So it kind of makes you think about what we can have in Battlefield 5 now that leagues like ESB are showcasing to these big brands, hey, look what we can do, like moving forward. So yeah, it's going to be, I've got big hopes for it moving forward, yeah.
So speaking about the sponsors and stuff, do you know if ESB actually got hold of any other sponsors? I know we had MSI, we had Samsung. We had DLC Studios, Orsano, and Games
Well,
Imperial.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, Gamers Apparel may not be like a massive named brand, but obviously in the UK and most of like mainland Europe, they're the brand that most of these grassroots and entry teams go to get the gear. I mean, for me now, like when I did the team in Battlefield 1, this is Gamers Apparel gear.
Yeah.
And I know Pro Legion has got a shop up. I think the two or three other Battlefield teams at the moment have got a shop up there on Gamers Apparel.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely huge, and especially with some of the prizes, like first place being custom shirts for stuff like Gamers Apparel for you and the team. It's also a big incentive for these small teams who don't have the capital to put into stuff like that. They can start to work towards things like that. It'll be interesting to see what other brands take interest in the event. Obviously, you've got two juggernauts in the industry already that sponsor not only their own teams, but like major events as well in the wider esports scene. But yeah, no, it's I don't know if they got in touch with any others or if they've been approached by any others as of yet. I just know that as a showcase piece, it's definitely something they can pitch to get bigger bigger sponsors in, hopefully bigger prize pools. I'm hoping much wider prize pools as well, because obviously all the love was shown to PS4 Division 1. It would have been nice to have something for the rest, really.
Yeah, like the Xbox scene, like it isn't as big like ESB side comparing to the PlayStation scene. PlayStation has always been like the main platform, it seems, for Battlefield. I mean, PC, of course, and Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3 was PC, but everything after, I think it went more into console. Yeah, I think with this, like, they can show their production value of this league, and they can say like, oh, this is what we did. Here, give it, like, who else is interested in putting their name on this brand? And I think that's, yeah, it's just great to see like them raising the bar of what the other platforms as well have to do, like, because they've been here from 2013, I think, something like that, and just showing that like the continuous improvement throughout the years. And now I would say since the LAN in 2019, like the unfortunately, which was BF1, unfortunately, but from that moment, I feel like they've taken things a bit more serious than they have before, and it's good to see that like they're going full out and showing what is possible in the Battlefield scene, even though it's a little smaller than other competitive scenes. I think it's yeah, I think it's still great for what they're doing.
100%.
Some other things actually in the finals production. Well, they have tried in the listen-ins as well. The listen-ins, we know them from those watchers. For those that watch CDL, of course. The listen-ins have been a great addition there as well. I think that's where the idea came from. How do you think it went in the ESB, the finals?
Well, again, it was one of those things that we didn't do we didn't do any in the regular season at all. But it was always something we wanted to try out and test, and get the tech right for it, get the setup right. Although we got it right and we had some some small graphics there for it, the teams themselves I don't think are used to, like, it's weird. You've got teams like PLG, which are very vocal when they're doing it. And then other teams are definitely quiet, to the point where me and Lycan thought there might have been technical issues going on in the background for that. So I personally love them. It gives the viewers and those other teams out there an insight into what's going on in the team's mind at that point. What kind of pressure are they under? Are they screaming over each other? Are they calm? Are they collected? Are you hearing that in-game lead take the reins in a moment of a final push on the last two tickets? So I love them, and it was something that I pushed a little bit moving up in the hopes of getting it completely right. I don't think we nailed it 100%, I think we're halfway there to getting it right. But as a proof of concept, I definitely think it was worth giving it a go, especially towards like the semi-finals.
Yeah, and also with the with listening as well, because from my perspective, all I could hear was you, Mike. I couldn't hear anything else. I could hear the game. I couldn't hear what anything else was happening inside of the stream. So literally, I was just running off what Mike was doing. So when we jumped into that, I think it was the game with was it Raid and Redux where we jumped in to listen, and then I had to turn the stream on just so I can see if if it was happening, because Mike was quiet, like definitely quiet for ages, and I couldn't hear anything on the stream. So I sat there like,
is he leading to me, or we what's going on?
What are we waiting on?
Are we okay? What's happening? So I was just sat there like this for like 2 minutes, like. Mike was like, yeah. So yeah. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that, like, technically, I think the whole production was set up around having the hosting team, me and Lycan, in the studio. And there's like a few technical bits that we definitely need to nail on the head moving forward next time, if they have us back. That to obviously, like, we need to be able to hear what's going on in the studio. There were times when the guys in the production room next door were giving me call outs in the EP saying, okay, we're ready to transition to the listening. But Lycan was still halfway through narrating what was going on in the game. And obviously he couldn't hear that. I can't just cut him off abruptly like that. It just breaks the whole production. So you just kind of have to wait for that moment, and with the replays and everything as well. So I definitely think if we can nail the tech behind the listenings, if we can nail the communication to us, the hosting team, a bit better, they can definitely be a powerful tool for the viewers and engaging people into their favorite players and teams. Because people watch it to watch their teams play, watch to see who wins, see how their favorite teams and how their competitors talk. It's a big tool for, especially like you guys who made it towards the semi-finals. How does PLG get so good? Because it's not all player skill, is it? At the end of the day, it's the communication's a huge part of it, and being able to get an insight into that is invaluable for you guys.
Yeah, I think like that with PLG, of course, it's more than just the skill. It's also like communication, it's team play, it's all of that. But I think something that's really good to look forward to is in 2022, PlayStation and Discord are actually doing like a partnership. So I'm hoping, like, if it's the same as with Xbox, you can join a party from PlayStation, and that would make these listen-ins so much easier. Because right now, you of course had to do it with like earpiece hanging off of your shirt. And you said that you didn't hear anything from, for example, the Redux side. I can say, I think there was like a couple issues because I was speaking to Deuce in the chat, and he said like he joined, but there was no one talking. And I'm in the Redux party, just like coaching them because I wasn't playing, but I was like trying to coach them. Trying to keep them in bay, trying to keep them as a team. And they were talking constantly, like, so it was kind of like, oh, maybe there's some issues because, like, once they tested, like, you're sitting differently, and then when you play, you're sitting more forward. So maybe that was an issue, I don't know. But yeah, like, those are some small issues, but those can definitely be fixed. I think listen-ins is a huge bonus to anything, really. I'm definitely gonna try it myself too. But yeah, I'm hoping for PlayStation and Discord partnership to come soon enough so you can just use that instead, which will be a lot easier.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, honestly.
Yeah, there was also a moment where there was a replay happening now, because my view was literally just pretty much the camera on mic, so it's everything that the stream was seeing. But it was I think it was a point where there was a replay, but it didn't actually get forwarded to me, and I was still watching gameplay at that time. I wasn't actually watching the replay, so I was commentating still, and I didn't know a replay was happening at that point. So I was commentating, and there was a replay going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So a little bit further down the line, I think it was corrected because I was starting to see the actual replay as it was happening, so I knew when shut my mouth basically.
Yeah.
But it was the same with the listenings. The replays was something new we were trying, and you could tell that it was something new. We didn't have like a fancy transition going into it or a nice ESB border with the graphics and everything for the replay. And we actually slipped up on a few bits, you know, playing a replay over the take of an objective, which we should have been casting instead of showing you a replay. It was some bits like that, but it's all new proof of concept tech that we wanted to display and just give a go. And there's no better time to try that out when you've got the full production team in the production environment doing the production things. But yeah, we slipped up on a few bits. I think we nailed it towards the end, using them as like filler parts between after a game, doing those top 5 replays. Some of them, I think we could have had some better replays moving forward, but we had like Brett and Catalyst in the background there who were doing all of the replays from that gameplay and everything, which was good. It was handy. It means that the production guys can just go, hey, have you guys got the replays queued up? Yeah, we have. And then it's just a call to me, like, hey, Mike, top 5 replays are ready, lead into whenever. And I was just off then. Like, it's a case of finish my sentence. And hey, guys, top 5 replays, the last match is up. Quick snap. I've got a minute of 30 to chill around, dance around the set, you know, like, pretend I'm Captain Price and enjoy myself. and then it's cameras go again. So we got the actual, in terms of production, the replays and listenings, we ended up towards the end nailing. The actual execution on stream could have definitely been a lot better.
Yeah, like the moment you were talking about, I even have it written down here, is the moment RX versus Chaos, second map RS, right? So RX just defended until the last sector. I think Chaos didn't get A or B, so as soon as RX got past the last sector A-bomb, they would go to the decider map. I remember we were about to head in, like there was an insane moment last second, planned just a sector before on B, and yeah, then we go over to the last sector, and then it's just a replay of like they're just attacking the A bomb, and then they suddenly cut to a replay of the last sector B, and like, what happened? And I'm there in the party, of course. I was like coaching, and they're saying, "Oh no, they're disarming. This disarming." I'm like, "Oh no, no, what happening? Like, I hope they're not losing A." And then suddenly we cut back, and they're like disarming B. I'm like, what happened? What happened to the A bomb?
And the thing is, like, we couldn't, like, while I'm busy with the replay and everything, like, I can see the gameplay there on like the desk to my right, but I'm not focusing on that part because busy having a sip of water. Makeup girls are busy touching up my head and everything, and then I just see, like, I've got my phone there for the Discord chat, and I just see Codename like going, "Guys, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing?" Because he wasn't on set like during that particular part, so it was kind of a bit like, "Oh shit, what have we done?" But yeah, we learned immediately from that mistake. No replays mid-game. Only replays after the maps and between those maps, and we found that worked really well at the end.
Yeah, so from my perspective, because I could see what was going on, I could see the replay at that point, so I knew it was going. But I also had my my in-game feed, because I actually joined the game as well, so I can spectate from above in like bird's eye view. So while that replay was going on, I heard that the bomb went, and then I heard the alpha bomb get planted. So I was looking at the screen going, "Oh no, what's happening? What's happening?" And then I was watching it, and it was so quick. It was literally like Bravo got planted. There was going to defuse it, but there was a member of Redux sat in the corner on the church.
Frantic.
And just lying down with the ZK3.
Yeah, that was Smiley,
cheeky boy.
Wait, I can show the clip here as well.
Yeah, no, put it up.
I have some more clips as well from the setup. I'm gonna show these first, of course. The man himself getting touched up by the makeup girls. Can you briefly explain what your expectations were going into the studio, by the way?
So I knew they had this the set all done up. They had it done like a few days before they were starting to do everything. And we'd seen pictures, both me and Lycan, about like how Tim and his boys managed to get the set done. And I planned on wearing some smart clothes. I was asking Tim all the way leading up to like literally like the night before the plane leaving. Tim, do I need to buy anything? I've only got hand luggage. What clothes do you want me to wear? Do I need to go and buy some like newer clothes or like something different? I mean, I was cadets as a kid, so I've got like number twos and stuff, like officers type uniform and things up in my wardrobe. I could have brought that with me if I knew. So I turned up with like pretty much smart clothes. Again, like black long sleeves, chinos. I even bought some nice, like proper nice smart clothes in me, expecting to just present from like in the battlefield kind of thing, as if I was like this this narrator kind of thing. And then I get there, I get picked up from the airport from Tim, on the train station, and he takes me straight to the studio and he shows me all this stuff, and they got all the weapons and everything there, and they got this gear, like body armor stuff and stuff piled on the side. I'm kind of looking at that stuff and I'm like, why have they got that? Because obviously it's not the set's already there. And then the next day they're like, hey, turn up at 10:30, so we can start getting stuff ready. I turn up there and Alex, one of the guys from the studio, was like, so yeah, we got some makeup girls coming, and they're gonna do this. We want you to wear this stuff here, and then we want you to play around with some guns and things and do some scenes like you. And I'm like, I did not bring any clothes suited to what you want me to do. Yeah, we will try to put on all this body armor, and you're gonna get down on the deck on the sand. And for me, it's so unnatural for myself to be put in that position. Yeah, and then the makeup girl turned up and she was busy dirtying my face and Vaseline all in my beard and everything. That was lovely to clean up at the end of the night for the next day, for it to happen all over again.
Yeah, you see it here at the bottom right.
Yeah, the set and the studio I expected. What they wanted me to do and how they wanted me to do it, 100% found out on the Saturday morning that this is what they wanted me to do. But yeah, no, it was great fun. I'm glad I did it because I think in the end, I thought it was going to be way too cheesy. I thought it was going to be like super cringe, but I think the feedback that we got from a lot of the viewership watching and from the guys on the set and the production, that it was kind of just enough that it kind of added that light-heartedness to the stream, and broke it up nicely between the segments and the games. So yeah.
I'll be showing some of the clips from you acting in the DLC studio. Here's another lovely screenshot from I don't even know what it is. Like I see like some kind of nose beard. I don't know.
It looks like a bush to me, to be honest. I can't quite.
I don't know. I cannot identify it, but yeah, I love what they did here as well. Of course, well, Mike, you didn't have a co-host like present physically.
Yeah.
Is it like a bit more difficult in a way to present it with having, of course, Lycan in your ear, but you don't actually, like, you have him on the screen next to you? Just shortly, I like what they did with the setup for the screen as well. Like, it just made it that much better, you know?
Yeah, well, it was obviously, I think they were planning to have us there. Was it any different or any more difficult? I don't think so, because that's how we've been doing the casting for so long now.
Yeah, it's
not
true.
having the person with you. It was, I think it was difficult not being able to see Lycan throughout the whole thing. Like, the only times I saw him was when I actually went and I looked at the screen. And it was just listening, so I couldn't see his facial expression a lot of the time. But from what I've seen around the place, that's kind of natural. It would have been awesome to have him there with us, I think. But I think the setup worked, like you said, really, really well. And again, it was like that linked back to HQ and that link back to that forward position type of thing that we tried to play into, and like having it all nested in the netting on the desk worked really well in the end.
Yeah, it looks like here you have a clearer picture of how the setup looked, and I think this is the staple video of what made everyone go wild actually. Just
fighting talk from PLG who
Yeah, so that was the first day. That was
that was the first day. That was kind of like the promo video actually.
Yeah,
that was when I actually turned up as myself and not as a bushwookie. So
yeah, this was after the PLG interview, I believe, with Jordy.
Yeah, PLG versus Red Black. Yeah, exactly. This was the first scene. This was the first scene of you pretty much on set. And well, we all know how it went on Twitter. I think I'm not sure. I think it was like 50 likes already, like on that, maybe more. I haven't seen the tweet in a while actually, but
I've never had so many notifications on Twitter in my life before. Like honestly, I don't post a lot on social media. I'll like retweet and I'll like some things. But it was unreal the amount of support that we had for it, and doing that whole intro of it's been 7 weeks and standing up and going through and leading into that the videos for the teams. It was really good.
I have a few more clips
so,
here.
I mean, like what a first half we have seen here
it's
tonight.
it was
Reno
very much outside my
stopped
comfort
chaos
zone.
in their tracks.
I'm definitely much more of a serious person.
Was that something you were expecting,
like I don't do cheesy, funny stuff. I don't put myself out there to be kind of like a comedy person or like in that kind of scene. But it was really.
Yeah, but you guys
I think it
both
worked, right?
smashed it. Yeah, you guys both smashed it. I don't think you could have actually done better than this. Like your personality, like this was your personality. I didn't really know you at first. I was talking to Lycan when we were first discussing this, and I said like, was he acting? Or is that his personality? I thought you were acting this way, but it's more like this is your personality, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an actor, so this is basically the guys on set going, we've got this like 50-something step production like steps of things to do, right? And it's like in between this bit and in between this bit, we want to do some like in the battlefield stuff, and he's like. So yeah, we want you to pick up the gun, or we want you to pick up these binos and do something.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's scripted. It's literally me they're literally going do something with the binoculars, and I'm just like, the fuck do I do with these binoculars, man? Like, what do I do? So
Talking
the stuff
about
that
the binoculars. Talking about the binoculars, by the way. Here we go.
So yeah, we'll watch this, and you can see me cringe while I'm watching it as well, dude.
Wait, it's not that bad. I like it. I like what you did. I like that you use your environment as to make the production even better.
Yeah, that was it. And like for me, the binos bits was probably the most cringiest, cheesy things.
I can see that.
Like I was doing.
I can see.
However, people like you said, they absolutely loved it. And then
unfortunately, I don't have the. Yeah, this is the explosion. Unfortunately, I don't have the clip where you pick up the weapon. I actually asked Deuce this. I think it was on the second day. I asked, "What about you tell Wild to pick up that weapon and do a 360?" And then literally a bit later, you had you picking up the Barrett or whatever gun it was. I think it was the Barrett. It's just amazing, really.
It was so good. Like after the first like 2 or 3 times, it felt a bit more natural, and I'm just kind of like lent into what they wanted me to do with it. So yeah, it was really really good. It was really fun.
Yeah, those are some amazing. Yeah, I mean, you'll see this for a long time. Don't worry.
There's already been gifs and like stuff have been like sent to me from left, right, and center. Some not safe for work. Some very much like fun. I even used there's one gif of me ducking from an explosion. The guys at work give me crap all the time. I'm a programmer,
right?
So I always use the So whenever they start firing shots at me, that's the gif that I use now, and they absolutely love it. So it's,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
There was one moment. It was the first day, and I think it was like pre-stream, and I was just sat there and I was thinking, you know what, I'm gonna get a screenshot of this. It's gonna be a real decent screenshot. So I decided to, hit that Windows key Shift and S so I could snip it, and my God, I've got the best screenshot of Mike you could ever see in the history of the world. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's safe. I don't think it's safe for
Yeah,
viewership.
I'm
though.
not.
It's compromising.
I've seen it. I'm not gonna show it.
Very compromising.
Yeah.
When I turned up to the cast and I saw Mike dressed up, I was like, I'm underdressed here. What am I doing? So from my past, I used to do a lot of airsoft. Like this is like 10, 12 years ago, back in my day. But yeah, I used to do a lot of airsoft. So I remember that I still had a ghillie cape up in the attic, along with like a old Vietnam rig where you store magazines and stuff like that as well. And I actually have an M4, like airsoft M4 downstairs, but I didn't use that because I didn't want to be lugging that around whilst casting. Yeah, so the second day, I literally, like, if this was like half an hour before the actual cast was starting, I was up in the attic on my knees, just going around trying to find it. I find it, I put it on, and then I run downstairs to the fireplace. I get some charcoal, and I just go, literally just smash my face with charcoal, and that was it. Then I was done. And now I had to put a beanie on as well, just so it looked a bit more.
Yeah, you did alone. Mike had some makeup girls to do it for him.
Yeah, so
both look fabulous though. Both look very good.
I put a picture in the chat that you can see as well. You can plant up if you want. But
yeah.
Yeah, I literally just smashed it together, and just no one knew I was going to do it. I just came on onto the cast scene, and I was just dressed up like that.
Let me see if you can.
It was good.
Ooh, there we go. In big, yeah.
So I just turned up for that, and that was it. I was like that the whole entire cast. I didn't take anything off. I was just there, like, yeah, I'm not moving.
I mean, it's good that you have it laying around, because like it actually, again, it fit the team that you guys were going for. Yeah, it just made it that much better to see you guys like invest into the personality that you should be on like the set, and yeah, it just made it better. It just made the whole broadcast a lot better. Just hats off to you guys though, like that was some amazing work.
It was fun. It's something that I've never personally done before. I've never put myself in the position of doing that, and it's an experience that it was a hassle getting stuff ready to go out there, from speaking to visa offices, going through web pages of like all of the coronavirus stuff and how to travel. It was like me and Tim were pulling our hair out, or whatever hair I've got left out, for like 3-4 weeks. But it's an experience I'd happily do again, and it was so fun, so fun.
Yeah, I'm 100% getting on that next time. It was the thing is, right, it was a very important hospital appointment I had on the day I was meant to leave. So I mean, it ended up being a waste of time in the end. But
yeah, you told me. Fortunately.
I went there, and then that was it. Basically, I came in and was like, for God's sake, I could have literally just cancelled the appointment. It was pretty much a waste, but
I mean, you don't know those things in advance. So otherwise, you would have gone. Yeah. A last question, really, on this topic. Mike, I mean, I would ask this to Lycan too, but as you were not in the studio, it's doesn't really fit for you. But Mike, like, how many people would you say like were there on set at that moment? Like, I saw the picture after when everything was done on Sunday. I saw the picture. Let me try and get it up actually, whilst you explain. So I saw a picture that was like, I think like 10 people. You had like the effect like for the set, and all of those people.
Like, I mean, in terms of like how many people were like on the production, obviously you had me on the set there. You then had the cameraman, the guy controlling the game screen behind us, because that was all designed in like Unity and everything. You then had a I think it was like a quality sound guy there as well. You then had the makeup girl who was there. Who would like, I'll be mid casting and she would be coming up like touching me up and stuff, and it's like, what's going on? That was extremely strange experience for myself. Like,
Yeah, I can imagine.
and then the rest of the guys were all in the production room next door. You had the guy who was there busy like actually casting the game, like streaming it for us. You then had Tim, who was busy controlling everything. You then had Codename, who was there, who was pretty much managing and like doing everything. And then you had obviously the guys offset, like
Side effects,
Catalyst, Brett, Lycan, who were all
Bistron as
involved.
well.
So I reckon. Say again.
You also had Bistron, of course.
Yes,
involved.
yeah. So there was
I know.
loads of
Yeah.
there was loads of people who were like actually involved, and there were some guys who aren't in that picture that were involved with the actual setting up of the set and of the camera equipment and things. So it was more involved than I thought it was going to be with the amount of people we had there, for sure.
Just one last question I'm gonna ask you, Mike. In between, like, you had your moments where you had to get on camera, but like all the moments next to that, were you just like sitting down in front of a screen, or how can I imagine you doing your time?
So before the stream and stuff, it was basically me being a bit of a stat junkie, sorting out all of the production timeline and stuff with Alex, the camera guy and like set manager there. So that was kind of chill. That was from like 10:30 in the morning, 11ish. We started doing that, and then when we actually did the cast, the desk that Lycan was on, behind that desk, or like kind of on it, there was another screen that I would view the game from. And first day I was standing, and including server problems, my feet were hurting the living crap out of me after that one. Because again, I didn't bring the shoes. If I would have wore the most comfiest boots in the world if I knew I was going to be in that scenario. Instead, I've got my nice thin-soled like smart shoes on.
See it if you can see it. It's on screen as well.
Yeah. And then day 2, they got a stool behind there that I was sitting on during the casting. But literally right behind the desk behind Lycan, I was sat there doing the casting for that. Yeah, so like a bit further back on the left-hand side.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay, behind the screen.
Yeah. So on that desk behind the screen, there's another screen with a bit of a desk space. So I'd be sat there. I would have the Discord and Twitch chat up on my phone, so I could see what was going on while Lycan was talking as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how that was. I was sat there or I was standing, depending on how I felt.
All right. One last question before we actually go into the interviews. It's actually a pretty big discussion. It's the MVP award, right?
Yeah.
Let's just briefly go over. So personally, like I have given my input on the MVP discussion in the ESB video itself. My opinion, of course, was that if someone had to win it, it would be from PLG. I also mentioned Not Pass, of course, from Chaos, who had an amazing season. So I said PLG between Jordy and Saint. I don't know what you guys were thinking before the before the MVP was announced, just yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't know exactly when. But what were your predictions on who was going to be the MVP before it was announced?
If I'm honest, before we actually looked at the stats behind what makes the most valuable player of the regular season, I had Paz in my list because he was slaying. I had Maxi up there. I had Jordy up there. I had Jimmy up there as well. I think I even had Berg on my list because as a recon, both him and Maxi were just destroying left, right, and center. You know. And then Frantic also had some pretty like shit hot moments where he was basically turning the tide of the games throughout the regular season. But so going into it, I had a list of about 10 people in my head who I thought, hey, these guys are in good running for it, right? But then when we actually sat down and we went through the stats, because me and Codename were massive stat junkies, right? And it was incredible to see once you had that on paper from the regular season, what actually contributed to a most valuable player above things like kills and KD overall. It really kind of brought things into perspective of players who I didn't even think about before then. So yeah, and again, it's been controversial with some people as to why that was picked, but yeah, it definitely, like, I can wholeheartedly say that looking at the stats, going in depth, thinking back on the gameplay that we saw, Saint 100% the person who is the most valuable player throughout the season. Not just because he's on PLG, but because his performance on the field for the team has been amazing compared to the rest. Even Jordy, like Saint on paper and is better than Jordy, which is unreal considering his performance is next to none. Like, arguably, he's probably one of the, if not the best on the scene right now, when it comes to Battlefield 5. So yeah, and like for me personally, a lot of my views come to it. Again, you can go on the ESB website and you can view the same stats that everyone got from the article about these guys. Saint defensively was really, really good, right? But when it comes to the attacking and you look at the death ratio, right? You know, he got, again, 85 deaths throughout all of the sectors that they ended up attacking against. And, you know, it's 36 sectors overall. And remember, you got to think, you get 37 lives per sector, right? So he's only lost his team 2.5, if that, sectors overall. Then when you compared it to someone like Paz, who had the highest amount of deaths during the attack across 27 sectors, it's 155, dude. Like, it's a full map's worth, a full 4-sector map's worth of deaths that he's cost his team, with less attacking kills as well. So, and that's a huge factor that has made sure PLG have won their games moving forward. You know, that they don't throw rounds due to stupid deaths, and that can be seen throughout those guys. Again, playing as the role that he does, it is a bit more passive. You're not up in the face, but you've got an FG42, so he can be up in the face, and we've seen that on many of the objectives as well. And then when I mean, we had a brief discussion before, like the attacking rounds as well. If we want to go to kills, things like Paz and Jimmy's stats, they got like 218 for Jimmy, 247 kills for Paz. But you've also got to remember that, so this is the defensive stuff here, right? You've also got to remember PLG have played a lot less defensive. They played 19 less defensive rounds than Chaos have. So you do have inflation of the kill stats right there, purely because PLG were able to not lose as many sectors as everyone else. I think overall throughout the whole regular season and the playoffs, they only lost like 7 sectors, right?
Yeah, 6, 7, something like that.
Compared to the 26 that Chaos lost. Yeah. So when you end up inflating Saint stats above that, it works out to be something like 360-ish kills he would have got, which is 120 more than Paz and Jimmy would have got in the end if they played the same amount of defensive rounds.
Yep.
So once you start taking all those stats in, and you start taking into account the deaths, the kills per sector, the kills per objective, and stuff like that, it really showcases that who the most valuable player of the regular season was, and it was Saint, without a doubt.
Yeah, it shows that you have to look more than just stats, like, to get a real understanding of how important someone is for a team. Like, for example, as I said, Jordy and Saint are very good. Jordy is, of course, like, I had a little bit more of an edge to Jordy because, just for the reason, Jordy is, like, of course, I'm not in the party, but I feel like he is the leader of that team. he is the person that rallies them when they need to, that pushes them to be the best team possible at this point, as he mentioned in his interview, like before, which was shown before the first match. Like he expects, like he takes on every match as if like it's the final, pretty much. Because like if you don't, then what's the point of training? And in that sense, I think Jordy was better, but I can fully agree. Saint, again, one of the better players on this scene at the moment. I can agree with that. Lycan, what was your prediction for the MVP before it was announced?
Wow, not taking into effect the whole season, which is what happened. I was really, really impressed with Frantic, and who else was impressive? Mike, you know this man. The man who's crazy with the Panzerfausts.
I mean, you're talking about Frantic there, dude.
What, with the Panzerfaust as well?
Yeah, Frantic Panzerfaust.
Every opportunity that man has got to launch a Panzerfaust at someone, he takes it, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
The man doesn't just use conventional guns. He gets a Panzerfaust out and acts like a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
He fire it from one side of the map, hits someone in the face at the other side. It's funny. It's just so funny.
It's one of his specialties. And as much, of course, I'm Redux. Like I'm the leader of Redux. He's part of Redux. I would say I would want Frantic to be the MVP, but I can't. Just for the reason that there's like the first half of the season, like we'll hear from Frantic in a moment in the interview. But like the first half of the season wasn't on par with like the second half, and I just, because of that, we were already out of contention for MVP voting. So that's why I also didn't mention them in my, like I mentioned, but I didn't count on them becoming MVP. Unfortunately, I would have loved so, but I mean you gotta be realistic in those kinds of things, and I think that just makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, but let's head over into the interviews. We'll be adding Jordy in shortly, and after we'll be having Frantic answering some questions from us. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in a bit.